Hello people, this is Johnny again, and on this glorious morning I would like to give you an update on our album, the new one we are currently making, and on a few other things. And as you can see, as of this morning I haven't done my hair yet, but since the weather is so nice I thought, well, perhaps I'm motivated enough to finally do this update video. Anyways, let's start off. So, first of all, album title. It will be called Reflection. Currently, for Reflection, we have 4 songs done with vocals and 5 more songs done without vocals yet. So, all in all, we already have 9 songs done instrumentally, and yeah, you could say we are actually progressing quite quick for this album. You know, it's 2 more songs and it's technically done instrumentally. And if you paid attention now, you see there will be 11 to 12 songs for this next album. So we are technically shooting for more reasonable durations in this album. Usually I was making those 14 to 15 songs with 70 plus minutes, and well, this time we are trying something more normal, I guess you would say. 11 to 12 songs, shooting for 50 to 60 minutes. Then we also have the cover art as good as done. I will upload it to Facebook, or I will have uploaded it to Facebook depending on when you're actually watching this video. Which reminds me, like me on Facebook, Book the Facé. Then release time. I'm gonna call spring, summer, but I'm shooting more for end of spring. But as you may know or may not know, you can't really control how your creative juices are flowing. So, 2 to 3 more songs, it can take, 5 to 6 months or 5 to 6 weeks. You never know. Plus, we still then also have to do all the vocal takes, and once everything is done, we also have to check for retakes, and then I have to check the mix again, see that everything is nice in line, and it all takes time, so I'm giving myself enough time for this one. Again, like with all the other albums. So I'm gonna say spring, summer, around that time. Now there's something that you may like or you may find disturbing because of the implications, but we will also release an instrumental edition for this album. Perhaps you followed what was happening with the instrumental release for Chronicles. I said I would make an instrumental release for this album if 2 of the songs that I uploaded instrumentally would get a certain amount of likes, and still till today it didn't reach them, or those 2 songs didn't reach the requirement. So, and since that has been quite a long time, I'm going to say no, Chronicles will stay with vocals, no instrumental release, but this next album will have an instrumental release. Now the next switch up we are going to do for this album is we will put a price tag on it. We were thinking about $5. I'm not sure yet if euro or US dollars. I'll have to check the demographics on Bandcamp to see where there's more demand. You may ask yourself why we're doing this. Well, there are a number of reasons, but I'm not going to go into detail now. So call me a sellout if you want, I really don't care. Just prepare that you perhaps save up those $5 if you really so desire to purchase this album. But I'm really trying to make this album worthy of purchase, because I'm really trying to increase the quality in my songwriting, which takes me to the second part of this video. the overall structure and what you can expect from this new album. So, funny thing is, before I started this album, I was throwing around so many ideas what to do. First of all, I wanted to make like a really long 20-minute song and then divide it into a few parts and make a small EP with it and have a concept run through the whole thing. I definitely wanted to make something with concept, but that didn't really work out as I hoped. So the next step in the whole thought process was to make a normal EP with like 7 songs, individual songs, but still have a concept run through it. But you may know my stance on EPs. I'm thinking if I can make an EP, I can just invest a bit more time in it and then I'll have a full length. The next step in this thought process was to make a full-length album and divide it into several concept parts. So now the way it is, we will have a full-length divided into 4 concept parts with 2 to 3 songs each. Yes, kind of like Tesseract's Altered State, but it was not my intention to make the structure that much alike. It just kind of happened, you know? First of all, this 20-minute song, then EP, then full length with 4 concepts. It kind of just happened. So don't read too much into it. Now, keeping in mind that there are a few concepts in the album, what I'm really trying to do is focus more on atmosphere. I'm always trying to create a kind of vibe in the songs and in the concepts. And as far as I personally can tell and compared to my earlier stuff, I think there is quite a bit of quality increase when it comes to songwriting. But again, that's just as far as I can tell. It's of course also for you, the listener, to decide. But I will still upload like 2, perhaps 3 more songs of the album before I release it, so you can see for yourself what's going on. Now again, with those concepts in mind, I'm also really exploring this electronic ambient side of my music much more now. You know, with my other albums I always made those little fillers, like 2-minute songs, purely ambient and nice sounding. Well, now I'm actually making whole songs like this. And there's also one concept, very ambient and nice sounding, and well, I personally really like how it turns out. So you can kind of expect this album to range between those 2 extremes from my music. On the one side, dark and mystic sounding, and on the other side, beautiful ambient sounding. Then another thing you can expect from this album is that there will be no screams. Okay, singing only. Again, for a number of reasons, but I'm not going to go into detail. And again, there will also be an instrumental release, so if you're so abhorred by vocals and the human voice in music, then look forward to that. So yeah, that's it for the update on our next album, Reflection. Now let's come to some other stuff. I noticed I reached 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is quite a substantial amount, I suppose. But it's not enough. So, it would be really cool if I could reach 10,000 subscribers this year. But of course I'm not getting my hopes up. You never know how those things work. But still, it would be a very nice achievement. And to help that out, I want to make some more tutorials again. Problem is, I'm kind of lacking the ideas. So, whenever you come up with some cool ideas for making tutorial videos, then just throw them my way. Of course, they should be remotely related to music production, okay? But I still have 2 or 3 ideas I do want to make. First of all, I want to make a tutorial on reverbs and see what that is all about, how all those parameters actually function. What I also want to do is make a tutorial on mixing live drums instead of BSTs, because BSTs, they are easy to mix, you know, because they are awesome recordings and really good samples without any bleeding, really. but mixing live drums, that is where things get much more interesting and intricate and really fun. And I also thought that I would perhaps make new vocal mixing tutorials. Because the one I put up already, I technically did them just when I started off fiddling around with vocal mixing. I'm German and it's morning, so please excuse my speech impairment. I was also thinking about making new mastering tutorials because I think I could go a bit more into the details of master compression and EQ and loudness, because in the tutorials I put up I just explained how to do it and how to use it, I think. But I think it's much more important to really understand why you're doing things, and I believe I could explain this better. Especially in mastering, it's so easy to do more harm than you do good. So, especially when it comes to compression. But if you don't mind, please don't give me any ideas to make more Pod HD tutorials, because I believe I pretty much covered all the important basics. You know, the only thing you really need to understand there is the principle behind building your signal chain. When you know that, when you know why to put a gate in front, why to put a compressor before the amp, then everything else is really up to you. You just have to look through the whole catalog of amp models in the pod and the whole catalog of cabs and mics, and it takes hours to check them all out and all the combinations. But it's necessary to really understand what your unit is capable of doing, and so that you are able to also use it correctly. So in conclusion, yeah, look forward to our new album Reflection, and look forward to some more tutorials, and give me ideas for tutorials if you want to. Yeah, have a good one.